This channel is for educational purposes and reflects my 20 years as a holistic wellness practitioner. It's not medical advice. Always work with your healthcare provider for diagnosis and treatment of any condition. You wake up, you check your phone before your feet hit the floor, you have your coffee, and somewhere between the emails and the caffeine, your stomach has already started to tighten. By the afternoon, you're visibly more bloated than you were that morning. Nothing you ate explains it. If this sounds familiar, you've probably already blamed your diet. Maybe you've cut gluten, cut dairy, tried the elimination protocols, and some of that helped a little, but the bloating keeps coming back, especially in the last few years. Here's what I see constantly in my practice with women in their 40s and beyond. The bloating isn't only about what's on the plate, it's about what's happening to your nervous system before you've eaten anything at all. Today I want to walk you through the actual mechanism, how stress hormones change the way your gut moves, why this shifts as your hormones shift in midlife, and what genuinely helps, not another list of things to cut out. Let's start with something your body does every single day. Whether you're stressed or not, your cortisol naturally rises in the early morning. That's normal. It's part of what wakes you up and gets you moving. The problem isn't that the rise happens, it's what we do right after it. Reaching for your phone within minutes of waking and following that with caffeine on an empty stomach adds another layer on top of that natural rise. Your body doesn't fully distinguish between urgent email and actual danger. Either way, it reads the signal as something requires immediate attention, and it responds the same way it always has: fight or flight. And fight or flight has a very specific relationship with digestion. When your body perceives a threat, real or not, it prioritizes the systems that would help you escape or defend yourself, and it deprioritizes the ones that don't matter in that moment. Digestion is one of the first things to go quiet. Blood flow shifts away from your stomach and intestines and toward your muscles. The rhythmic contractions that move food through your gut, what's called motility, slow down. That's the piece most people never hear explained clearly. When your gut slows down, food sits there longer than it should, and food that sits longer ferments. That fermentation produces gas. That gas is the bloating you're feeling. So the stomachache isn't random, and it isn't just getting older. It's a fairly direct chain. Stress response, slowed motility, longer sitting time, fermentation, bloat. This is also why the usual bloating remedies, peppermint tea, digestive enzymes, cutting out one more food group, only go so far. They're addressing digestion. They're not addressing the nervous system that's putting digestion on pause in the first place. I want to tell you about a pattern I've seen over and over, not one specific client, but a composite of dozens of conversations that all sound remarkably similar. A woman comes to me in her early to mid-40s. She's done everything right. She's eating whole foods, she's exercising, she's cut the obvious culprits, and she's more bloated than she's ever been in her life. She's frustrated because she feels like she's following the rules and her body isn't cooperating. What we usually find when we look closely is that her stress load hasn't changed. She's always run a demanding schedule, but her hormones have. As estrogen and progesterone begin shifting in the years leading up to menopause, the body becomes more sensitive to cortisol than it used to be. The same stressful morning that barely registered in her 30s now produces a much bigger digestive response in her 40s. This is also where I want to gently push back on something well-intentioned, but often counterproductive, pushing harder into high-intensity exercise to fix the bloat. For some women in this stage, very intense training is itself a stressor. It raises cortisol further at exactly the moment the body needs less of that signal, not more. That doesn't mean stop moving. It means the type of movement matters more than it used to. The most common mistake I see is treating this as a food problem when it's actually a regulation problem. Women will do a full pantry overhaul before they'll touch their morning routine, their sleep, or their stress response, because those feel harder to control, or because no one's ever explained that they're connected to bloating at all. The honest answer is, the food matters, but it's not the whole story. If your nervous system is in a low-grade state of alert most of the day, no amount of dietary precision will fully undo that. The two have to be addressed together. Here's where I want to keep this practical. Not a 40-step protocol, a few specific things that address the actual mechanism. Start here, the first 30 minutes. Delay your phone and your coffee by even 15 minutes after waking, and let your natural cortisol rise, settle before you add anything on top of it. This one is free, and it's the highest leverage change I recommend. Support the system with food. Don't fight it. Magnesium plays a real, well-documented role in how your body regulates its stress response. It's not a blocker, but it does support a calmer baseline. Leafy greens, pumpkin seeds, and dark chocolate are easy ways to bring more of it in. Try what I call the chew to calm approach. Slowing down at meals, genuinely chewing, putting your fork down between bites, activates your vagus nerve, which is the same nerve responsible for telling your gut it's safe to digest. It sounds almost too simple, but it's one of the more evidence-backed tools we have, and it costs nothing. Sync your eating with your energy, not the clock. A steady breakfast with protein and fiber, rather than coffee alone, prevents the blood sugar dip that tends to hit mid-afternoon. And that dip is itself a stressor that adds to your cortisol load for the day. The last piece is your evening, because tomorrow's digestion starts tonight. You can't flush cortisol out of your system the way that phrase sometimes gets used, but you absolutely can help your cortisol curve wind down at the right time, so it's lower when you go to sleep and ready to rise appropriately the next morning. A short wind down, even 3 minutes of slow breathing, dimming the lights, and stepping away from screens before bed supports deeper sleep. And deep sleep is when a lot of your gut's overnight repair and rhythm resetting happens. Poor sleep the night before is one of the most reliable predictors of a harder bloating day tomorrow. One small practice I'd suggest. Before bed, take 30 seconds to notice how your stomach feels and what your day looked like. Over a couple of weeks, patterns tend to become obvious. You'll start to see which mornings, which meals, which kinds of stress reliably show up as bloating the next day. That awareness is often more useful than any single remedy. If there's one thing I want you to take from this, your bloating isn't a sign that something is wrong with your willpower or that you need to eat even more restrictively. For a lot of women in midlife, it's your nervous system asking for a different kind of attention than your diet alone can give it. I go much deeper into the stress-gut connection in Chapter 6 of the Women's Gut Health Bible, if you want the fuller picture. And if this was useful, my next video walks through the estrogen, the gut bacteria that help regulate your hormones, which ties directly into everything we talked about today. Your gut has been trying to tell you something. Learning to listen. That's where everything else begins.